What is up, guys? It's Fernando back with another video. Today, we'll be doing my Raw recap and review for the June 22nd episode. And we got a halfway decent episode. We didn't have the Bloodline take over the entire episode. And compared to SmackDown, this show is light years ahead. I actually have something to work with. They gave us some fun moments, some progression in some things, some shockers of the night, and just overall, a good quality of content. Like, we're not asking that every show for 52 weeks a year has to be monumental, but give us at least one or two good bright spots or something to think about after the show's done and something to talk about, and just not complete bullshit and nonsense. But that's not what we got here. We got a decent show. Started here in the States earlier than normal. So got home from work, watched this. And it was for a good little watch here. And I'm gonna make this video real quick. France and Iraq is in the middle of a weather delay, so let's get into it. We start the show off with an Oba Femi promo. He comes to the ring, basically saying that Destiny is what does all this. The Destiny led him to Brock Lesnar. Destiny is going to lead him to win the King of the Ring, and so forth, which he is eventually interrupted by Jey Uso. And Jey Uso basically comes out, does his normal nonsense, runs it back with the crowd, and gives Oba a warning shot. Now, Oba returns with basically telling him he isn't the family member that he's worried about. He's worried about Roman Reigns, and to give Roman Reigns his bullets. This was a great segment to start the show. Obviously, we have the two finalists for the King of the Ring tournament, and Oba Femi was able to spin the words of Jey Uso around and turning it into an amazing promo, and taking shots at Roman Reigns, essentially with Jey Uso's bullets. This was great. When Oba, I don't watch NXT too much, but Oba Femi is able to do everything. He has charisma. He has a character. He's not just a big guy that goes around and can beat anyone. He is polarizing. He is captivating. Everything about him is just great. And this promo was good by him. And obviously, this is going to lead to the match at. This has been a simple build-up. One promo is a simple build-up for their match at King of the Ring. And they hit it out the park, in my opinion. Especially Oba Femi. Jey Uso, on the mic. But Oba Femi was able to do that. So we'll see what happens at King of the Ring. But great way to start the show. And then we have LA Knight crashing out on Adam Pearce in the backstage area, and he gets interrupted by Jimmy Uso, and they start fighting, and they crash on each other, start arguing, and LA Knight and Adam Pearce agreed to have a match. LA Knight is basically disrespecting his boss, telling him to shut up, and then he doesn't listen to him, and he repeats exactly what Adam Pearce said. It was a funny little tidbit there. I really like that LA Knight is portraying this character of fighting the wrong in the company while also going at his boss. Great little segment here that would lead to a match between Jimmy Uso and LA Knight later on in the night. And then we get to the women's tag team champion Brie Bella and Paige versus Bayley and Lyra. Match was dog shit. Don't care. It was short. The real shocker was Lyra Valkyria turn heel on Bayley. Now, finally, we get something with Lyra after that. Her Intercontinental run, which was really, really good and led to absolutely nothing, and WWE seems to put her on the back burner because of a bad performance at last year's SummerSlam. They give her something. Boom, a heel turn. And with Raw lacking heels in the main event scene, or just lacking heels in general, in the women's side of wrestling, Lyra Valkyria, this is a great turn, and obviously she's going to feud with Bayley for a while. I hope this doesn't last too long, so they can go their separate ways, and then we get Lyra doing something else. But it's a nice change-up. Now, the only real question that I have here is, how is Lyra going to portray this character? Because I just can't see Lyra as a heel whatsoever. I'm not sure she's ever done it in the past, but she's just the stereotypical. She just looks like a babyface. You just want to root for her. She's a smaller character, and she's always been that fighter. You know what I mean? But I'm interested, and it's something that changes the scene here in the women's scene. So I'm glad for that. I can't say enough good words about the Lyra heel turn. I am so intrigued to see what happens and how good. This is going to be a real test for Lyra, as how good she can take this. Because this is something brand new. Then we get a Chad Gable segment here. He comes to the ring with his entrance music. He gets some claps. The crowd's really into it, chanting Gable during his entrance music, and doing claps, which is always a good thing. If you can get engagement with the fans, and in your own special way, you're gonna get over no matter what. And he has done that with his work, obviously in AAA, with the respect he has gained through there. And now people are starting to get enamored by him and go along with him. But that leads to him going to the ring and basically saying that he wants to apologize. He calls out the Alpha Academy to the ring. He apologizes to them. Real nice promo. He goes one by one, tells them what he's sorry for, and that he basically mans up for being mean to them. And then eventually it leads to Maxine Dupree not accepting the apology on behalf of the whole Alpha Academy. She says she's basically going to do what he did to them, and he's going to leave. They're going to leave Chad Gable all alone by himself. Hell of a promo by Maxine. She did a real good job. The way she was looking at her, the way her voice, everything about her, she really stepped up here. And obviously, I'm having this think it has something to do with her in theory. Being talking in the back, maybe going more towards the heel side. I don't see Tozawa and Otis being heel, but Maxine did a real good job in this quick change-up where she's not like this bubbly, sweet, loving character anymore. She was relentless, and she really did good in explaining that in her promo, and that left Chad Gable kind of mad. But good little segment here for Chad Gable. I hope they could continue doing stuff like this, him apologizing to people, but then eventually move him on to have some matches and get him into a real feud of substance, and just take him to the fucking moon. Strap a rocket ship to his back and take him to the room. The dude is a machine in the ring. He's gained the respect. He seems to be over. Now let's see if he can get to the top, and let's see if people will still like him for what he is. So, great segment here. I really enjoyed it. All the characters working together. Then we get to an interesting match between Ethan Page and Dragon Lee. Not too much, but it's a little bit of story in the mid-card scene. And they're putting different names in the hat, having matches each week with different people, and that's just what we like to see. But it was a good match because it did the good showing Ethan Page as the devilish heel. He does anything. He'll say anything, and he'll do anything cheap to win. He turns Dragon Lee's mask. Dragon Lee does this awesome snap suplex off the ropes. He does his dive through the ropes onto the announce table. Nasty dive. I love that move by Dragon Lee. But it ends with Ethan Page low blowing Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee's going for the Styles Clash, which Ethan Page just puts his head up and low blows Dragon Lee. Hits his finisher, and Ethan Page picks up the win here. Great win for Ethan Page. There was no way he could take a loss here. To just make him bigger, make him more hated, for eventually to just keep on mixing up this mid-card scene. So great work. Decent match, okay match, and great win for Ethan Page here. Then we get Io Sky interview with Jackie Redmond inside the ring. She basically goes on to say that she's going to be Queen of the Ring, which she gets interrupted by none other than Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan comes out running her mouth, saying that she's going to be the Queen of the Ring. Then says she's going to go whoop the ass of Io's best friend Rhea Ripley and take her championship. And then Io says that I don't know if that crown can fit on your big ass head, talking to Liv, and Liv's facial expressions were great. She's so good, and this leads to Io Sky kind of just going crazy in Japanese, and Liv Morgan attacking her. Io Sky gets the upper hand and kicks Liv Morgan out the ring. But why couldn't we have done this with maybe the World Heavyweight fucking Championship that Liv Morgan has? Why couldn't we have done that? This minute, just a small interaction between these two was good. Liv Morgan, her ability to work with Stephanie Valkyria, a non-English speaker, Io Sky, a non-English speaker, and to make the promos feel big, to make them feel meaningful. Like, I don't know what the fuck Io Sky is saying, but I feel like I know what she's saying because because Liv Morgan gets offended by it. And it's just great work by these two. But WWE says, nah. We're not going to let Liv Morgan do work. We're just going to put her on the sidelines for fucking 2 months because we don't know what to do with her. When they could have been doing this all along. Either way, I don't care because we're going to get Liv Morgan. I love Liv Morgan to the bottom of my heart. And we're going to get Io Sky. I love both watching them perform, do work. So a great segment by these two. Again, just WWE, let your workers work. And would you look at that? That they created some magic. And then we get to a funny segment with Dirty Dom and JD McDonough. They want their money back that Danhausen stole. So they're backstage trying to get the money back. Danhausen said he spent it on some stupid little toy. I don't know what it was, honestly. And then he spent the other some more on his experiment. JD goes to take the experiment, and JD gets electrocuted. I love this. I absolutely love this by WWE. Keep Danhausen on SmackDown, working with Kit and Miz, and have their rivalry there. But with Danhausen's work, he's able to go to another show and have small, fun interactions with other superstars. And that's what they're doing here. Great, fun little laugh. He gets a pop every single time. And working with Dom and JD is great because JD can play the funny character. He can play the comedy character. He can make himself look like a fool while also going inside the ring and absolutely burning the house down. I think this is a fun little rivalry between Judgment Day and Danhausen. I don't know if they're going to pursue this constantly, but it's great to see Danhausen on both shows. They got away from it for about a month or so with the rivalry with Kit and Miz, but they're bringing him back to Raw and having him interact with other talent here. So good segment there. And then we get Jimmy Uso versus LA Knight. This match was made earlier in the night. It's physical. They look like they really want to get at each other pretty much. Pretty basic match. But the end comes through with Solo coming through the crowd and spiking Jimmy Uso, helping LA Knight pick up the victory after LA Knight hits him with a BFT to Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight picks up the victory. But this is interesting, and I love the fact they had Solo come solo. He didn't come with the MFTs. It was just Solo Sikoa costing Jimmy Uso the match because he said he's going to go, if you come mess with my family here on SmackDown, I'm going to come to mess with your family on Raw or your bloodline on Raw, whatever. And so that's exactly what Solo Sikoa ended up doing here. Great call here. I don't want the MFTs versus the bloodline. I don't want to see the MFTs. I like Solo. I don't like the others. They don't bring anything. But Solo kind of taking hits at the bloodline here is interesting. But the more interesting thing that for me personally is I want to see how LA Knight reacts. The work he's been doing this past week, crashing out about the bloodline, about Adam Pearce, is good. But now I want to see what he has to think about Solo helping him. Okay, not that great of a match. It was a mid-level match. But again, they're giving us small stories to work with matches here on Raw. It's working. It gives a little bit of interest. And we're able to tie it all in. And maybe it'll lead to something. As an LA Knight fan, who knows? I don't want to get my hopes up. But he got something here, and some type of storyline going forward. We get a backstage segment with Judgment Day and Liv. It's basically Liv only caring about herself, and then kind of Raquel and Roxanne Perez gossiping behind their back, saying like, "Hey, we need something too." That was cool. But then we get another backstage segment with Seth Rollins actually doing a sit-down interview with Corey Graves, and he's saying that he's going to take the risk to put all his chips on the table by taking on Braun Breaker in the steel cage. And that he wants to put the division behind him and then go after the title that he never lost. So kind of some filler right here, but there was that. But that leads to the match between the Vision and the Street Profits for the tag team champions. And the match, it was okay, nothing crazy. It was really just the Vision at first working Montez Ford. They got the upper hand, and then Logan Paul cheated, grabbed Theory's foot, put it on the rope, and then they started working Angelo Dawkins, which inevitably led to Logan Paul coming back after he got kicked out by the referee, handing the brass knuckles to Austin Theory while trying to. Joe Henry makes his return. Great to see him. fun. He's a fun character on Raw. Great to see him back. He scares off Logan Paul, and then Seth Rollins' music hits. He comes from the other side of the ring, grabs the brass knucks, hits Theory, and the Street Profits are able to hit their finisher and pick up the victory. And we have new tag team champions, the Street Profits. I have nothing really bad to say about the match. I mean, it wasn't the best match. It was kind of boring with Division working them the whole time. But we have new tag team champions. I don't want to get my hopes up because there is no tag teams for them to face. But I'm just sick of having the tag team champions on Theory and Braun, who were never a tag team to begin with. But now it has maybe 0.5% more life, the tag team division. With the Street Profits as the champs, they have 0.5% more life. So great call here. And another thing is, because they took so long of a break, I just forget how great Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford are in the ring. Their tag team wrestling is just great, fantastic. And I really like their moveset, obviously. So it's going to be fun to watch. Hopefully they can perform more on a weekly basis. But I'm excited for the tag team champions because, and another thing now is with Seth facing Braun. What happens if Braun loses? I don't know what they do with the Vision here. The Vision is in shambles. I mean, they get good heat because of one man, and that's Logan Paul, and he's injured. He can't wrestle right now. We'll see what they do with the Vision, especially after Night of Champions. But I'm glad we have new tag team champs. And that was it for this episode. It was decent. Maybe I'm hyping it up way too much because of how bad SmackDown was, but I was entertained. So thanks for that. I will be doing my Clash. What is it? Night of Champions video tomorrow. My predictions. I'm gonna predict all that stuff too. And yeah. So thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one.